Ever wonder what your day would be like with Boom Radio? Yep, us too. We don't think about nightmares.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the BoomBar on Boom Radio NG, reaching you from Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Shola Rogers.
And my name is Dolupo. Bid you a warm welcome to the bar this very interesting day.
Yes, the BoomBar, for those of you who are just joining us, to the uninitiated, the BoomBar is where we kick back, relax, and talk music, sports, politics, and everything in between. We're streaming on YouTube and Facebook as we speak, and you can also listen to us on AfriPods and Spotify, amongst other podcast platforms.
Okay, so we're going right into today's show as there are a few things that we're going to be talking about. There are a few updates from things that we had talked about yesterday from the Oronsaye Report, which basically took most of the program yesterday. There are reactions coming from that angle. The NLC, there's an update on the NLC protest that began yesterday. The president is, Nigerian president is up and about. So we're going to be talking about that and a couple of things. There's a few things about sports, a few things about entertainment, that we're going to be talking about before the end of the hour. So sit back, relax, and let's get right into today's show. So we're starting the show from stuff we had talked about yesterday, and we basically sat down and there was an in-depth conversation about the Oronsaye Report and the things that the federal government was going to implement from this report. And basically, for people that do not know what that is, it's a report that is supposed to help streamline cost of governance.
Yeah, basically about agencies and parastatals that have been created by government.
So, starting from that, well, I won't say starting from that, like on the offshoot of that, there's now been a couple of, what's the word now? Reports or reactions from this. Now, yesterday, one of the former presidential candidates, Peter Obi, had a few things to say about this report himself. It's kind of seems to be his thing to actually talk about a few things. Not talk about a few talk about everything. That's actually true at this point. But maybe criticize or whatever it is that the government is doing. But at the moment, he kind of had a few things to say. On his thread on X, he had actually said that if he was president as well, he would have implemented the Oronsaye Report as well. Do you think he would have?
Yeah, for him to say it is something that now at least he has the leeway of saying, if I was president. A lot of people have always spoken about the Oronsaye Report in this light. People that have always talked about it. People have always said they were going to implement it and all of that. So I don't doubt Peter will be saying it and actually doing it if he was president.
Oh, okay. So, but anyway, he is saying that also that other than the civil service, the president still has to cut governance across board. Like a lot of things still need to go. The cost of governance still needs to reduce. Not just about, because the truth is that the Oronsaye Report is about the civil service, but he's saying that we still have to streamline Nigeria's, according to him, bloated governance structure and a reduction on fiscal wastage.
That exactly is where Nigeria is headed. If you look at it, if we look at the facts and the recent pronouncement and actions that they're supposed to follow up on. So the Oronsaye Report, because one thing is a lot of people have not read it. A lot. People just know that it is about cutting the cost of governance. But people erroneously assumed that it was an all-encompassing report about from A to Z of governance. But it's basically
Just
centered
civil service.
around, it's not even the civil service is virtually as intact as it can ever be. It's basically about agencies and
Agencies, yeah.
and MDAs.
Yeah.
And so, not even the MDAs, it's just agencies and parastatals.
Parastatals.
Because some of them are duplicates of another parastatal or agency. So the report was done as commissioned by former President Goodluck Jonathan. And of course, another thing that we need to make a lot of our brothers and sisters understand is that even when you hear about such reports, no government, even if they commissioned it, will take it hook, line, and sinker. What you do is to raise, a review by getting a white paper from an informed panel, and that's what Jonathan did. Although he never got around to, carrying out
Implementing
the report.
it.
And again, that's what Buhari did towards the end of his government. And the white paper is out. So if you look at the white papers, the two white papers that are out, you can't use the one that Jonathan had because some of them events had overtaken them.
Yeah.
And the one for Buhari is the most recent one, which could have been what is guiding this government at the moment. So it's an error to assume that the Oronsaye Report is about cutting down cost of governance across board. That's not what it is. It's basically about that aspect of the government, which we all agree is, yes, like Peter Obi said, over-bloated and not. We agree. I agree because there's some funny agencies that we've heard about and you're like, okay.
What's the point?
Why do you need
It's almost
that?
like there's an agency for everything.
And the sad part about it is that the Nigerian legislators did not rest. Even with the knowledge of the Oronsaye Report, knowing that there's a white paper somewhere and they still kept on creating agencies and all of that.
And all sorts of things.
So it's a battle to try to even implement the Oronsaye Report as amended. It's also a battle to get
So now saying that the whole governance is going to be, yes. So I'm talking about that, yeah. I wanted to take you back to something that we didn't have time to talk about yesterday. And this calls to what you were saying. And where there was an interview a few days ago when the deputy speaker literally lamented this deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, had lamented on poor lawmakers' salary. According to him, he said, and I quote, "I can assure you that based on economic indices at the moment, inflation rate and the rest of them, the amount members of the National Assembly receive cannot actually take them home to do their jobs in the various constituencies, considering the cost of transport, running constituency offices, and the number of maintaining aides who are supposed to have you achieve what the mandate of that office demands. It is not a discussion that will add value to the crisis we're faced with, but I can assure you that they're willing to adjust if that's what will make Nigeria move to the next level."
Mr. Benjamin Kalu, with due respect, you're not reading the room.
I don't think so.
You're not reading the room.
So are these the same people that you want to go back to tell them that they should reduce their salary?
You're not reading the room, Mr. Deputy Speaker. You're not reading the room. You even have payment for a job that some people should be doing for free. Honestly, my concept of this, it might sound funny, it might sound strange, is I don't even think you guys should be paid. I think it's supposed to be some kind of voluntary work that you do. Then you get some honorarium for doing it. But here you are. A few months ago, there was a lot of furor about you guys getting brand new SUVs.
Imported.
Each SUV that you all got could create factories in whatever context for several people. We could create industries and all. But Nigerians have moved on and allowed you your SUV. Please don't come with
nonsense talk.
Don't come with
nonsense
don't
talk.
come. We don't want to hear about how Nigerian lawmakers. You're one of the highest paid anywhere in Africa. I'm not even going to talk about the world. So please, sir, don't bring that one focus on the job. You guys were supposed. I think it's in charge of the constitution review and all that. Please don't even bring that. Let's stay focused. Nigerians are complaining that they are hungry. The economic policies and the global economic outlook is not a great thing. And you're talking about lawmaker salary. Resign now. If the money no reach you, bros, resign. Please don't even do that. So let's get back on track with the Oronsaye report, the reactions that followed, because we really talked about it extensively yesterday. So, Mr. Peter Obi, like he said, he said he would have implemented the Oronsaye report, which is something that I feel that we need. But we also must realize that the call to implement it is just another step towards, restructuring government. Is another step towards it. At some point in time, Nigerian and African rulers felt that the easiest way to create jobs or even siphon funds was to create agencies and committees and all sorts of things. Some of these committees, every time they sit, they get paid some stipends and stuff. So the new reality is that we need a smaller but more efficient government. But again, you must be careful not to throw many people into the labor market, because you don't have jobs waiting for them. You don't have appointments waiting for them. So there has to be a balance.
There has to be a balance.
In trying to cut down the cost of governance, you must also factor in that some people will lose their jobs.
Now, still talking about the Oronsaye report, somebody else has a contrary opinion or a reaction to it, and is human rights lawyer Femi Falana. And I want to read a bit of his statement that he read.
Okay.
Or he said.
Right.
He said, no doubt the implementation of some of the recommendations of the panel will take appreciable time, as the merger of certain bodies require constitutional amendments or repeal of a number of statutes. The 800-page report of the Steve Oronsaye panel recommended the reduction of statutory agencies from 263 to 161, scrapping 38 agencies, merging 52, and reverting 14 to departments in different ministries. Since the Goodluck Jonathan administration produced the white paper in 2014, the federal government has created more ministries, departments, and agencies. Whereas the report recommended the reduction of 263 to 155, the number of ministries, departments, and agencies have increased to 1,316. Even the current administration has increased the number of ministries, created new agencies, to the extent that the Steve Oronsaye report is completely outdated. However, in implementing the Oronsaye report, the federal government should ensure the crisis of insecurity is not compounded through the retrenchment of hundreds of thousands of workers. Instead of downsizing the public service, the federal government should ensure the two houses of the National Assembly are merged, while the number of ministers, special advisors, and senior special assistants is significantly reduced.
Oh, well, it looks like we're in alignment in some aspects of this. I've heard a lot of people talk about how, the ministries are too many. And I actually beg to differ on that one. As much as we're trying to cut down the cost of governance, we should not just do it because it seems like the right thing to do. We should do it based on the reality and the importance of this current ministries. For instance, I know someone was like, what's a blue economy? You see, that ministry can actually contribute to a large chunk of Nigeria's income if done properly. And the blue economy is new. Some countries don't have it yet, but the ones that have it, they're already looking at the way that we can actually reap a lot of income from it. Nigeria's water boundaries, if I can use that phrase, has just been approved. It's bigger now than what it used to be, which also means that we can harness
more things that
from the waters and from the seas and all of that surrounding us. So the blue economy is all about this and then some. I feel that we should not just reduce ministries for reduction's sake if someone creates a ministry and they were not bringing anything before, that they were not getting anything from, and it starts to generate billions of naira and dollars, why would you scrap that? Do you understand? The focus should also be on the day-to-day running. Imagine the house is actually not a bad idea. Imagine the upper and the lower house into one house is not a bad idea. But what would the financial implications be?
Exactly. Not even just the financial. Will they allow?
They are the ones that are going to pass the law. So
exactly.
It will even fly.
That's exactly my point.
Saying that when they want to work, we see that they actually work. And at some point, I feel we need to cut them some slack too, because at times we assume that when they go on, break, they are gone. No, they're actually still doing a lot of oversight functions and working behind the scenes. And when you look at achievements of people like Femi Gbajabiamila with constituency development projects, now that they don't even give people money, like, oh, take this money or take that money, I really think that we should slow down on
merging them.
Just calling for reduction.
Because if everybody's, there might be more people getting to do a lot of things. Okay, so I get your point actually.
So that's that about the Oronsaye Report. And if you guys want to know more, you want to ask questions, or you have contributions, you can actually shoot us a mail, boomradiong@gmail.com, or tweet at us, boomradiong on Twitter, boomradiong1, that's our other Twitter handle, or search for Boombedu on Facebook, or Boom Radio page on Facebook also. On Thread is Boom Radio NG, and on Instagram is Boom Radio NG. Send us a DM or a direct message, DM or a timeline message, and we'll be sure to respond.
Okay, so now moving on from that quickly, another update is that NLC had suspended the protest, and they're giving the federal government a new deadline or new ultimatum.
Yeah, the Nigerian Labour Congress, the NLC, like Dolupo said, I wanted to break it down for non-Nigerians, because in Nigeria we have a unique way of identifying different bodies, corporate bodies, churches, whatever. We just have a unique way, and it's usually what's this thing they're called now? I'm trying to for this NLC thing. There's a word for it in English, but that's what we do in Nigeria. The MFM or OPC, or IPOB. We don't. Nigerians don't like stress, So instead of you calling out the entire name, you just use is it a mnemonic or whatever? We just use that shortened form to identify different bodies and people. Even people self, we have IBB, we have BAT, and all of that. So the Nigerian Labour Congress, they hit the streets yesterday. We talked about it extensively, and the highlight actually seems to be the way the protest was handled, especially by the Nigerian police force in different parts of Nigeria. In Lagos, we saw the police marching ahead of them and beside them and behind them to protect them and to prevent, a breakdown of law and order. I like to say that there's a thin line between protest and riot. And most riots start from protest. Most. Not all, but most of them. And I'm glad that went that way. But the high point of that thing is not even anything that the NLC is saying. It still remains the Nigerian police force in Lagos and how they were handing out refreshments to protesters. They could have been handing out some whoopings and some tear gas and all sorts of things, but they were just handing out water and biscuits. And people were really in shock and in awe, like, oh my God, the police could do this. And so I want to say kudos to them, but it's all part of saying that looks like the new government is also, handling things a different way, because when the protesters got to the National Assembly in Abuja, they were let in without any force. Nobody kept them out. No gates were locked on them and all of that. And this is where we're going. And the essence of that protest should be what government will address. They need to really and truly continually let Nigerians know that on this long list of demands, we've already met some of them and we're working towards. One of the things that I'm waiting to hear and see about this government is the CNG buses. You know, compressed natural gas is supposed to be cheaper than PMS and LPG and the rest of those fossil fuels. So if CNG is available and CNG buses are available and conversion centers have been set up, we will be saving a lot of money.
A whole lot. There was a lot of money on mass transit.
LPG that we use this time last year, the price had more or less doubled. It has more or less doubled.
So at the end of the day, is even...
So how cost effective is it now? You know, for people, especially people who have spent money converting, you know, their vehicles and their generators to LPG, pending when CNG comes.
Is it really cost effective at the moment? So we'll see where all that will go to. Now, before we leave that, the NLC has now given the federal government another ultimatum which expires on 13th of March 2024, saying that the government should implement all the earlier agreement that they had agreed on the second day of October 2023. So we will see where all that is going to. Moving on from that quickly, just wanted to put this out there. Very interesting how the deputy governor of Edo State has now arrived at the PDP headquarters to demand for a certificate of return.
Do you demand for a certificate of return?
My question is, has the PDP given anybody certificate of return?
In Edo State?
Yes.
I don't know, and I don't think so. Because if it had been done, then it probably would have been newsworthy.
Oh, okay. So apparently the PDP has presented a certificate of return to Asue Ighodalo.
So why is it demanding? Because they had two different primaries. So if you go to the people who
there's a lot of drama. I remember that also. That I think that Edo State is very peculiar at the moment, and it is not just to one party. Don't get it twisted. A few days ago, there was story of how another faction of the Labour Party had submitted another name to INEC.
So in Edo State, Labour has 3 governorship candidates. 3.
3?
Yeah. So
it's true that I've known about. Oh wow.
There are two factions. There are 2 factions of Labour in Edo State, and they had conducted primaries, and they have 2 different winners.
Yeah.
But it is said that the second faction did not even present the name of the person that won the primaries. They presented a different name. So as it stands, you know, allegedly there are 3 Labour Party governorship candidates in Edo State. The APC were quick to put their house in order. They were going to have 2, but now they have 1.
They had.
Yeah, they have 1. And so that's Edo State. And I think it's beyond Edo State. I think it's a fallout of the general elections and the other off-cycle elections, and how, you know, after Edo elections, there won't be another election for quite a while. You know, like the off-cycle elections that happened in Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo were close to the general elections. And Edo is about to happen. Then there won't be another one, I think, until maybe Anambra or so. So everybody's just really trying to, because they don't see these state elections as state elections anymore. It is still all about the numbers.
Yeah, it's numbers for the national
body and the spread of the parties.
So we'll see. I think at this point, everybody needs to put their house in order. Everybody needs to put their house in order. Again,
organizing primaries in Nigeria must be taken as something that involves the electoral body. And the reason why I'm saying that, you might say that, that it makes it like they are prying into the party's business, but at the end of the party's business always messes up the election results.
The election results, yeah.
So the electoral body, that's INEC. Like I said, Nigeria, we have our way of using letters to identify different corporate bodies and institutions, and even individuals. So INEC is the electoral body for Nigeria, and they should be. The law says that they will be involved in primaries, but I think they should be more involved beyond just observing, so that there will be no controversies. If INEC is there to observe, like for instance, would INEC have observed 2 PDP primaries? Would INEC have observed 2 APC primaries? Would they have observed 2 Labour Party primaries? Would they? I doubt it. So INEC, of course, will only go to the primaries organized by the duly recognized exco of the party in that state. That's the way it should be. That's what the law says.
Any which way, we're moving on from that, and I just wanted to put out there that the president. Okay, before we get to that, for people in Lagos, the what's it called? Third Mainland Bridge is completely closed for 24 hours. Just wanted to put it out there. In fact, I got a few mails from a few banks saying that they were closing early today.
Now you're big like that. You're getting mails from banks, not even one bank. I didn't even get one.
I'm sure you didn't check your mail.
Well, you're big.
Any which
big,
way,
big.
just wanted to put it out there. So there's a lot going on in Lagos today. If you don't have any business.
And tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Mr. Tinubu is coming to Lagos to inaugurate the Lagos Red Line project. It's another day that if you do not have any business
sit at home.
Sit where you are.
Sit at home. Yeah, but the focus should be more on the landmark project, the legacy project by the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Sanwo-Olu.
Sorry to cut you short.
All right, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is not what it called.
No, please go ahead.
But the half part that they had fixed on the Third Mainland, please, if you have driven on that thing, is wonderful. Just want to put it out here.
Yeah, big shout out to the federal government, especially the Minister of Works, former governor of Ebonyi, Mr. Dave Umahi, engineer, I think. Yeah. Umahi, Dave Umahi. He really knows what he's doing, and shout out to him. So the red line is massive. How one of the most densely populated axes in Lagos is going to get its own metro rail. Now, don't get it twisted. There used to be some kind of rail movement from Oyingbo to that axis. Get? It was the old choo-choo trains, the old locomotives. And at some point they were upgraded, but they were not properly run. This is the truth. It was almost looking like, sorry to my Indian people, but it was almost looking like those Indian trains where you would find like 1 million people outside the train, and maybe the train can carry only 200 or 300. Nigeria was moving towards that at some point in time.
It happened just a couple of years ago. I remember still seeing those things.
So it was getting that bad. But the beauty of it is that we're quick to call ourselves to order. So now with the red line, the red line with the brand new rail system and everything, it's going to move more people than the blue line. Based on my knowledge of Lagos, I think there are more people in that red line axis.
Okay, so according to the Lagos State government, they're saying that it's supposed to run 37 trips and convey about 500,000 passengers daily. It's supposed to run from Agbado in Ogun State to Oyingbo.
Yeah, and it would be nice for the governor of Ogun to write his name in gold by connecting to this same red line from Agbado to different parts of Ogun State, even if to nowhere, to Abeokuta, which is your
city center. Yeah, it makes sense.
Or run it all the way, because Lagos is planning about 7 lines, and one of their lines is actually going to run as far as Shagamu bypass through the Redemption Camp axis and everything. Imagine, getting on a train from that axis
all the way. It's very good. So according to them right now, the first phase has 8 stations in Agbado, Iju, Agege, Ikeja, Oshodi, Mushin, Yaba, and Oyingbo. I think that's a large. If you look at the distance from Agbado or even Iju all the way to Oyingbo, imagine driving all that distance.
Yeah. And just as an addition to that, the red line will not stop at the Mobolaji Johnson train station. It doesn't stop there. So for people who are going to be running on it, you either drop off at Yaba or go all the way to Oyingbo.
Oyingbo.
Another addendum to that is that the train is supposed to connect with the blue line, and the original plan was to go all the way to Marina, but I'm hearing now that it's going to go to the National Theatre train station of the blue line. So that way there will be some kind of ring road around there.
Okay.
So you can connect from red to blue.
To blue. Oh.
And the third addendum is that there's going to be a spur of the red line that goes to the airport, to the international or local airport access. That access, so that way we can actually get on the rail to and fro your air travel. These are things that are happening in Lagos, and we just said to bring it to your tables. So tomorrow, right about this time, the red line should have been commissioned by Mr. President.
Just want to put it out there again. If you don't have anything to do, sit at home.
Yep.
It will not be a very nice thing. But anyway, just want to put it out there. Also, the House of Representatives has now announced that the bill to protect endangered species has passed the first reading in the House. We will see where that is going. I think it's actually very important with the way a lot of things are happening. Now, let's move on from that. Let's move on to a little bit of issues with oil. So the NNPCL had announced that they had burst 84 illegal refineries and 66 insertions in 1 week. 1 week.
Now, speaking about insertions first, an insertion is what is made on an existing pipeline. If you do not have experience about pipelines and crude oil,
how do you? It's like you have water pipe and you burst it.
Should be if it's water will just.
No, you don't understand.
gush.
I'm just saying, like, even if for you to gush and then connect something else to it, you have to have expertise. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You're not gonna do crude oil and all of it. It's dangerous, So the people who are doing it are really people from that industry, people who are versed in it, who understand, the dangers around it. And there are this many insertions uncovered in a week. And they talked about this same thing this time last month. There's always something happening. So the people monitoring the pipelines, they might need to double their efforts, maybe pay them more so that they can increase their manpower, but also deploy technology. There must be a technology
There must be a way to
that would alert you once your pipelines have been vandalized or tapped into.
What's it called? It even starts from maybe, like you said, technology. When you are moving close, your distance, there has to be a particular distance you shouldn't cross before you get to the, because once you get there, then there should be some form of alert and all that. So yes, we hope that. Anyway, it could also be a good thing that the fact that they're actually busting these things and they're seeing them. Some of them probably had lasted for years on end and nothing had been done about it. So we'll see. Kudos to the task force doing this. Also, task force has also intercepted about 500,000 liters of diesel in River State.
Man, that's a lot of diesel, man.
It's a lot of diesel. Now, let's come down to a little bit of issues with crime. First things first, there's a story that we're going to talk about yesterday, but we couldn't get around to. And it's a story of a lady who has now been arraigned for assaulting a female officer. Yeah,
I saw the video, very disgraceful. There were two people losing their heads, a guy and a woman, and there was a female cop in the video, and at some point, they were both in each other's faces. And the next thing is, she pushed the policewoman, and she fell into the mud and everything. And at that point, I said to myself, this person is in trouble.
And it's on camera, and it's in social media. What were you thinking?
I get it. With that, at times we get angry, but please, try as much as possible to realize and remember that you're not supposed to touch anybody.
Exactly. For me, it's like you had said. You actually just hit the nail on the head. My rationale, because permits me if maybe what I would say sometimes does not. But I'm like, the first thing that popped in my head was a lot of things. You see, these things are rampant. But I'm like, do people even know that it is not right to touch a uniformed person? Maybe it is.
Anybody.
Maybe it is lack of information. But then it just occurred to me again that wait. You're not even supposed to touch anybody, uniformed or not.
Yeah.
Making it a uniformed person makes it a felony.
Yeah.
Which is a whole ball game entirely. But you're not even supposed to touch the next person.
You're not. You're not supposed to touch anybody.
You're not supposed to assault anybody. And now rub it in. It's now, and when I saw the video, really, I'm like, oh, does this person know this thing was like, I don't even envy her lawyer. I don't.
Yeah, because the evidence is out there. However, whatever it is, she has already been remanded in Kirikiri, I think. She's been remanded in prison. Her case will be called sometime in March.
Mm-hmm.
And if she's lucky, she will get off with a slap, with a slap on the wrist.
Really?
If she's lucky,
Okay.
she will get up with a slap on the wrist. If she's not, if they bring the full harm of the law to bear on her, the judge might be sentencing her to the maximum that's possible, again, to serve as a deterrent to other people who might be thinking of assaulting anybody.
I think it's just completely wrong. Like you said, everybody needs to learn to not touch people.
Exactly.
Also, talking about...
There's a message already here.
Okay.
From Bukola Medubi. She's a regular. God bless you. She said, don't even touch anybody. We should try and respect the police.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I agree.
We should. Regardless of how you feel about the police or some experiences you've had with some policemen, still don't generalize, because there are a lot of good policemen out there who are actually putting their lives on the line for us. What did they do? Many of us know if you do them. But yes, they are bad eggs. We get that. But regardless, not touch anybody.
Exactly. I totally agree. Also, Nigerians are a very interesting set of people. The one particular Nigerian has now caught the attention of the FBI, where he has now been charged with multiple felonies. Yeah. You did not do your nonsense. See, the one that used to vex me. Sorry, permit me for what I'm going to say. It's bad enough that some of you are not well brought up, or you are not behaved properly, that you will not, you cannot be well behaved citizens of your country.
Of any country.
No, of your own country. You cannot, but you cannot now keep the shame in the family or in or in the country. You now carry your bad behavior outside the public. Public meaning across the Niger, not across the Niger, across the Atlantic Ocean. All the way that the FBI is charging you. Come on. Why? Anyway, a Nigerian lawyer has been charged by the FBI with multiple felonies for an alleged $2.1 million bribe that he received while serving as an officer at the NNPC.
And this is the reason why, for many years, the NNPC, until recent times, had never been audited. It's because of this type of people, this kind of people who would have a lot of underhand deals that they're doing and get paid for doing nothing, basically stealing from the Nigerian government and the Nigerian people, our Commonwealth.
Our Commonwealth, yeah.
$2.1 million bribe. You can wonder, what was that person supposed to pay?
What was the original deal?
If someone is
bribe
getting
alone is $2.1 million.
million.
See, after you people, even if you are going to commit crime, which you shouldn't, at least respect yourself and keep it in the family. They can help you. Don't go outside and go and embarrass yourselves. Please and please. Talking about people going outside to do some things. So there's news that broke yesterday morning. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Where a particular guy actually became very, very popular. And he became popular being on the show. There's a particular reality show, 90 Day Fiancé. where he got popular. I think his name is Michael, and he ended up getting married to a white American lady, and and their story has been really, really interesting in the news and all that for months and for years. And finally, he's found his way to the United States. Early in the morning yesterday, his wife put out a video that she was searching for him, that he had gotten missing. Keep in mind, he had just been in the US for about 2 months. And there was, in fact, she had involved the police, that he had become a missing persons case, and all that and all that. Lo and behold, Uncle sends a friend to put it out there that he's running for his life. That's why. I have a question, Uncle. Did you really, really just want to marry? I just wanted an opportunity to jackpot.
Well, I won't count this as one of the situations where Nigerians are misbehaving. I have deliberately refused to get involved in all these reality shows, especially the dating ones and all of that. And I would not lie that I have not maybe seen snippets of this person and the wife, in quote, and it doesn't look like a match to me. The few things that I saw about them, it just looked like some bully and some guy that would do anything to get what he wants, more or less. That's what I think I saw. I might be wrong, actually. So when I heard that the guy had gone missing, I said, missing, but my man don't take off.
I don't take off, I mean.
My man don't take off. Like, what's going on? God. So I think the guy, Michael, is hiding somewhere in America. I hope his papers are solid, though, because she can have him deported.
Actually have him deported and all that. So, but I really hope that there isn't really also that kind of evidence saying that
he was being abused.
He's actually being abused, yeah, because that also says a lot about her. So we'll see where their drama is going to. Just wanted to put that out there. Now, quickly, I wanted to talk about something. The federal government yesterday had made a statement where they had literally through the Ministry of Education that universities are producing irrelevant research.
Okay, look, I don't need to read this story. I don't need to know
oh my God.
about it.
But you think so?
Know for a fact that the Nigerian educational sector needs to be put on some kind of emergency, what's that, emergency rule, or what's that thing that they call it? A state of emergency must be declared in Nigeria's educational sector. Not only are they putting out irrelevant research, I'm even surprised that they are putting out any research. They are putting out irrelevant graduates too. I'm playing on the word irrelevant here. There are too many people that have graduated from Nigeria's tertiary institutions that cannot even compete with children in private secondary and primary schools. I am not playing. When it comes to diction, when it comes to even writing English, use of English, mathematics, and all. I'm telling you, and they're both Nigerians, and they're generations apart, because there's a rot in the tertiary educational system of Nigeria. There is a major one. So it's the same people who are turning out these half-baked graduates that are they the ones that are going to do research. Since it's all become about money, man, these people too don't care that much. And the sad part is that if only they knew that this is an avenue for them to even make more money if they turned out important and relevant research. Yeah. A big shout out to the ones who are doing the right things, because there's never a blanket situation. You can't say because they said it that everybody in the unis are bad. No. But there's some who are actually, through the difficulties that they are going through, are still doing some research that are relevant, and they need grants, they need help, they need support. So that's why I now hope that government would create a system that can filter and decipher so that you can get to the Nigerian students and lecturers who are carrying out relevant research.
Okay, so we'll see where all that is going to. They have not ASU has not replied. I've not or
Oh,
I've
they're going to
not
come out
seen.
guns blazing as usual, and feel like, oh, you can't talk to us like that. You're the reason why this has happened. I can tell you some of the headlines that you're going to see already. What makes the government a government that is not legitimate cannot? You're going to hear all sorts of things, right? And most times it's just people deflecting. Just ask yourself, this thing where they talk, not true. Show us the only response I want to see from ASU is a list of not 100 though, 10 research that is, or researchers that have been carried out that are relevant to Nigeria.
Okay, now I saw something earlier today on social media, and I wanted to talk about it. And this is something that I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago that this was the event where the vice president had gone to Abia State about to commission I think a power station, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
exactly.
In Abia State, he commissioned about 3 roads and the geometric power station.
Now, I've seen a few people literally post that since that day, there's been non-stop power in Aba.
Okay.
And I think it's a very good thing. But I also see a lot of people going on and tagging the other governors and saying that this governor, can you see your mates, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, do people realize that it literally has nothing to do with the governor of Abia State?
It has next to nothing to do with the governor, Alex Oti, who is actually doing a great job at the moment by Nigerian standards anyway, and I say kudos to him. But this power plant and power generating plant has absolutely nothing, no input. In fact, there are other governors from Abia that people had always never recognized as doing well that actually were involved in this whole process. But it's still a private sector owned and driven project. But the government has a lot of input, even the federal government. At some point in time, this project was actually ready for commissioning over about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of legal issues here, back and forth, until the immediate past vice president and the former minister of power, the super minister, Fashola, actually got involved to help them resolve some of these issues. And again, this is where we are today. So kudos to the other governors and the individuals and corporate bodies that have actually brought this power plant to fruition. But let us educate ourselves. You cannot even build that plant in 6 or 7 months. And the value and the cost alone.
Okay.
But that's not to say
that
the state governments cannot replicate this with
now
time
they have
and
the
funds.
now they
because
have
there's
the,
a law
the
backing
law
it
backing them right now. Now, before we quickly go, there's a bit of sports and entertainment news that we might be able to go through. Now, one of the news that I wanted to talk about yesterday, which we did not have time to, is Super Eagles. So it has been said that a former Super Eagles goalkeeper is planning to come back to the team. He said he wants to come back to the team. In the person of Maduka Okoye. So I remember seeing a tweet from him where he had said that he had voluntarily pulled out of the Super Eagles because of a lot of backlash and all that. I think that he even had to deactivate his account at some point. Not saying that those things are good. It is cyberbullying. It's a crime. It doesn't make any sense. We need to stop those things and stop it quickly. But he had said he wasn't interested anymore. And now he's talking about how he was pained to have been watching AFCON at home and all that. And now he's 100%. He feels 100% and he feels that it's now the time to return to the team. Can you just habitually want to return like that?
Yes, you can actually. That's the sad part of how life is. And if the coach wants to invite you, if the football association wants to invite you, even if the coach doesn't want him to come back, if the association insists on him coming back, boom, you find him in the lineup again, or at least on the fringes of the team. But, we're all going to be sentimental about everything. We look at how he might have suffered, he might have gone through a lot. But we also look at how, because his sudden withdrawal also threw Nigeria into the deep end of searching for a replacement. And the person that he was at neck to neck with and he had displaced was Uzoho. But Uzoho was turning out not so great results. Sorry, brother, this is not personal, but Nigerians did not get that confidence from Maduka Okoye's replacement. Then came out of the blue a certain Stanley Nwabali. And I think that guy has shown us that he can be another Enyama. He's shown us that he can be another Peter Rufai, another Fregene, and all the greats from way back when. Yeah. So Maduka Okoye, if you get a chance to come back to the team, I don't think you're going to walk into that position.
I think
The best that they'll do for you is allow you fight for a shirt. But if I was the coach,
And you have somebody that is working, so why switch it up?
I won't drop Nwabali for you.
Yeah, I honestly, I think that in recent times, this is the best Super Eagles that we've seen. Well, they're not there yet, but I think that even with their cohesiveness and all that, their cohesion, I think that this is better than what they've been in a while. So why rock the boat?
Why change a winning team?
Why rock the boat? So he wants to come. It's a feeling. We can feel does not mean you will come. Personally, that's what I feel. But anyway, also quickly moving on from that, Barcelona has now revoked Dani Alves' legend status after the rape conviction.
Is there even a need? Look, the man is convicted of rape. That's a crime. That's one of the worst crimes that could ever happen in the world. And except there's proof otherwise, he's a rapist. That's what the law is saying now. So Barcelona saying it is just, maybe they are just trying to make it official. Because he's obviously not a legend in anybody's books anymore. Rape is a bad thing, So, yeah, that's it.
Now, also moving on from that, talking about a little bit of entertainment. Now, news had come out that South African police has now said that they've arrested 6 people over the murder of a South African rapper, aka very popular rapper actually, and it was very interesting how
Falana and Versace.
Yeah, 6 people have now been arrested, and they said that they would appear in court on Thursday.
It's a very interesting story. I was following it at some point in time. I remember that you need to go further back to the death of his girlfriend, his then girlfriend, whom is said to have fallen off a balcony from a high-rise building. And there were a lot of insinuations that AKA was culpable in the lady's death. But he stood his ground and said, yes, they had argued or whatever, but that he did not push his girlfriend off the ledge. Fast forward to a few months or years after. Might have been a mistake. He went to the lady's neighborhood,
Probably forgot or thought that...
And I remember seeing that video before he died. With someone had posted a video of him hanging out in a restaurant. And, of course, I think that video must have instigated some people in that neighborhood to come for him. And he wasn't the only one. There were 2 people, I think, that were killed on that day. One of his friends got killed too. And there were now insinuations that it was a reprisal. That is people from the girlfriend's side, the people's maybe are family members, but there's no real proof. But a lot of people have been talking about it. But now the police seem to now have people in custody that might have been culpable.
It's such a very sad, very, very sad one. But we'll see.
And AK was actually an amazing artist.
amazing rapper. That you cannot take away
I remember
from
how
him.
Nigeria used to give him problems, especially when we do well in football. He used to give him headaches. Rest easy, bro.
Yeah. Also, just wanted to put this out there. The family of Herbert Wigwe has now said they had released the 6-day burial rights for him, his wife, and his son.
This is still something, I didn't know the man personally, but you look around, you look at
It's
a
just
man
sad.
who has achieved a lot, and you know, I might be off point, but I was just looking at images of the house that he just built. A house
Don't
that
even, please don't even go
a
there.
house that
It's,
he
it's,
took he
it's
took
serious.
two of the richest Nigerians to
Mhm.
to come check on him, and took them on a tour of his house. And they even tweeted about, oh man, we just, I think it was Femi Otela that said that, he took them around. And I heard that house is beautiful. I've seen the videos.
Video is
It's
beautiful.
it's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah.
And sadly, he just never got around to really enjoying the house because it's barely a month after
Barely a month.
he moved
Barely
into
a
that
month.
house. Now he's left behind, I think, two kids or so, 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think there are 2 left.
His parents are still alive.
Yeah.
It's such a sad situation. His wife, and I've heard really nice things about her just after she died. I never really knew anything about her until she died. It's a wake-up call for us. I am not mocking or doing anything. I'm actually feeling, how life uses other people's situations to tell us
Tell us.
that, look, it ends one day. So try and be what you want to be. For me,
Have sense.
yeah, you can say it that way too. But for me, I'm just saying that it will be sorely missed by the people who knew him. But let's use this also to learn that life in itself ends one day. So be good, be kind, and do not get carried away with the finer things of life. Just enjoy them, because it ends one day.
Okay, finally, before we go, Diddy is in the news again, the American rapper Diddy. And I remember we had this conversation when he was sued by R&B singer Cassie then, and where he had settled. And I remember you saying that, okay, this is the beginning. The fact that he settled is going to be the beginning of
More.
of these things. Now, he has now been sued again, this time by a male producer who is accusing him again of sexual assault.
I look, I don't know. Honestly, it's crazy. However, the fact that there are so many stories out there does not mean that I'm going to take them hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we've seen situations where people have
People
accused,
have accused, yeah.
and especially when you have money, people would throw all sorts of accusations at you.
Michael Jackson comes to mind. Not saying that Diddy is innocent,
No,
but I also don't think that he's guilty
Yeah.
until it's
until
proven.
proven, otherwise or proven guilty.
Mhm.
So either way, it's just opened up a can of canker worms. A lot of stuff is being said, but again, it also shows you that at times, the bright lights and the fancy clothes and all the beautiful videos
Brings a lot of things.
are just show business. There is a human being that could be as terrible as the worst of us,
Yeah.
or as great as the best of us behind those bright lights.
Those doors.
Which one is Didi? We don't know. If this goes to court, maybe you'll be able to,
Judge and see which is
and
which.
defend himself and come out clean, or maybe it's going to go down.
Okay, and on that note, that is all we able to take today on the bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of the BoomBar. Do have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.
Peace.